Hello, everyone, and welcome to Self-Care for Counselors. I appreciate you taking the time to join me for this special topics presentation. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement as I work and live and play on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen people, specifically the Songhees and Esquimalt nations. We honor their enduring presence on this land and their ongoing contributions to our shared future. The image you see here is of the British Columbia Legislature buildings, a well-known landmark in Victoria that overlooks the Salish Sea. Okay, with that, let's begin. This slide provides an overview of the topics we'll be covering in today's presentation. I won't go through each point in detail here as we'll explore them in the following slides, but you can return back to this page anytime if you'd like to locate a specific section later. Next, we're going to take a moment to ground ourselves with a short box breathing exercise. This simple practice helps calm the nervous system, reduce stress, and bring our attention into the present moment, allowing both body and mind to settle so we can focus more fully on today's learning. I was going to play a mini Headspace meditation video here, but the video only works in the live version of the presentation and not in the recorded playback. So I'm going to guide us through a breathing exercise instead. To begin, visualize a box. Each side represents 4 seconds. On the first side, we are going to inhale 2, 3, 4, and then hold the breath for 4 seconds, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold the breath again, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do the cycle a few more times, and if at any time you feel lightheaded, simply return to your natural breath. Okay, let's do it again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Great. You just practiced self-care. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hopefully you're feeling a bit more centered as we move into the rest of the presentation. So what is self-care? From our class discussion during the meet and greet, I created this word cloud to capture the different ways each of you said you practice self-care. So way to go. You'll likely notice that some of these ideas resonate with you while others may not, and that's to be expected. Self-care looks different for everyone, and that uniqueness is what makes it meaningful. The key is to discover the practices that work best for you while staying open to inspiration from others. And remember, self-care isn't static. What supports you now may shift as you grow and move through different seasons of your life. Don't be afraid to adapt and try new approaches along the way, like baking cinnamon buns. Next, we have the 4 key areas of self-care, which are physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. For the physical self-care, this involves caring for the body through practices like regular exercise, adequate sleep, and balanced nutrition. Emotional self-care focuses on processing and expressing feelings, which may include journaling or listening to music or engaging in reflective practices. Then we have mental self-care, which supports cognitive health, such as restorative breaks during the day and pursuing ongoing learning like you're doing right now. And lastly, we have spiritual self care, which connects individuals to their deeper values and purpose, which is often accessed through meditation, mindfulness, or personal introspection. Together, these categories highlight the diverse ways that people can nurture their overall well being. Next, we have the standards of practice and ethics. So, counselors are expected to engage in self care not only for their own mental health and overall well being, but also because it is outlined in the Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association standards of practice. These standards emphasize a balanced approach to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health as a means of preventing burnout and compassion fatigue. Beyond personal benefit, self care is an ethical responsibility. Practitioners must maintain their well being to ensure they can provide competent and effective care to clients. For this reason, self care should not be viewed as indulgent or optional, but as a professional obligation. Neglecting it risks breaching ethical duties, since sustaining one's health is a baseline requirement for safe and effective practice and not an aspirational goal. All right. So, proactive versus reactive. For counselors and even our clients, emphasis on self care should be placed on early intervention rather than waiting until burnout and emotional exhaustion have already taken hold. A preventative and proactive approach can lower the risk of stress and burnout among therapists while also improving the quality of care delivered to clients. Ongoing research is needed to better understand self care practices, including how counselors make decisions about their personal and professional well being, and when it may be necessary to take a step back from practice. Effective self care requires intentionality and personal responsibility. Each practitioner is ultimately accountable for protecting their emotional and physical health and for making informed judgments about their readiness to work. Prioritizing self care is essential for both counselors in training and those in practice, as it safeguards against burnout and supports the delivery of high quality client care. This becomes especially critical during times of crises, such as pandemics, when the demand for counseling services intensifies. In such contexts, practitioner self care is arguably more vital than ever. Next, we're going to look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, in 1943, Abraham Maslow introduced his hierarchy of needs, proposing that individuals must satisfy basic needs before progressing to higher level ones. Contemporary research, however, indicates that human motivation is not strictly linear. People often pursue multiple needs at once. Despite this, the model remains a useful framework for understanding how needs are prioritized, with cultural differences influencing which needs are emphasized. In practice, the hierarchy has been applied across education, healthcare, and workplace management to identify motivational barriers and guide strategies for meeting diverse needs. However, some of the criticisms include Maslow's reliance on biographical analysis, cultural bias in the model, and debate over whether needs follow a rigid or more flexible pattern. As such, the hierarchy is best regarded as a conceptual guide rather than a definitive rule. All right. The power of saying no. It is okay to say no. As counselors, we know that the word yes can feel affirming and supportive. It reassures others and often open doors, but there's also a double edge to yes. When we say it too often without considering our own limits, it can quickly lead to overcommitment, reduce quality in our work, and eventually burnout. That's why it's so important to recognize that a healthy no is just as valuable. Saying no protects our time, energy, and well being, and it allows us to stay aligned with our personal and professional boundaries. For many early career professionals, whether in research, counseling, or other helping fields, there's a strong temptation to say yes to everything in order to prove value. But without experience, it's easy to underestimate the scope of demands. This is where mentorship becomes critical. Mentors can model how to decline opportunities respectfully, and emotional intelligence helps both mentors and mentees navigate the giving and receiving of no in a way that preserves relationships. From a self care perspective, learning to say no is essential. Too many distractions erode mental health and productivity. Protecting our time isn't selfish, it's what allows us to provide high quality care to clients and sustain our professional growth. Not every extra activity is harmful, of course, but we need to be strategic, choosing opportunities that align with our long term goals, values, and capacity. There are also practical strategies we can use, pausing to assess whether an opportunity fits our goals, acknowledging requests respectfully, expressing compassion when declining, and when possible, redirecting opportunities to others. In fact, saying no often creates space for someone else to step forward, which demonstrates maturity and collaboration. Ultimately, the ability to deliver a thoughtful, respectful no is a professional skill. It reduces stress, preserves our networks, and ensures that our yes is meaningful and sustainable. Now we're going to take a look at some self care interventions. First up, we have forest bathing. So, what is that? Due to the acceleration of urbanization and the accompanying environmental degradation, these have contributed to rising health concerns, including sleep disturbances, mood disorders, and chronic stress. This emerging intervention, originating from Japan's practice of Shinrin Yoku, invites individuals into immersive, multisensory engagement with natural environments, yielding both psychological and physiological benefits. Evidence suggests that low latitude evergreen broadleaf forests may further enhance these effects as they release higher concentrations of phytoncides and negative ions that promote relaxation and well being. The definition of forest bathing, or shirin-yoku, is a Japanese practice involving mindful immersion in a forest environment, engaging all five senses. So, unlike hiking or exercise, the focus is on presence, sensory awareness, and connection with the natural setting. Exposure to natural environments reduces sympathetic nervous system, or the fight or flight response, and enhances the parasympathetic nervous system that we use for rest and digest. This shift lowers heart rate, blood pressure, and muscle tension, supporting physiological relaxation. Studies demonstrate reductions in stress hormones like cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine following forest exposure. There's also been increased serotonin and dopamine activity, contributing to improved mood and emotional regulation. Forest bathing has been shown to influence both immune and psychological pathways. Exposure to forest environments, particularly through the volatile organic compounds released by trees, has been linked to increased natural killer cell activity and enhanced immune function. Psychologically, forest bathing promotes mindfulness, atten- attentional restoration, and reductions in rumination. Systemic reviews further highlight improvements in anxiety, depression, anger, and fatigue, alongside enhanced vigor and positive affect. In clinical practice, forest bathing is typically carried out through 20 to 60 minutes of slow walking, sitting, or mindful observation in a forest or wooded environment. It is indicated for stress management, anxiety reduction, mood enhancement, and preventative wellness. and can be integrated into holistic treatments alongside CBT, mindfulness based intervention, or relaxation trainings. The evidence base is supportive, with multiple Japanese and international studies supporting significant reductions in cortisol, blood pressure, and negative mood states following forest bathing. However, outcomes vary depending on forest type, duration, season, and individual differences. And more controlled trials are needed to establish standardized protocols. Clinically, forest bathing is non invasive, low cost, and widely accessible. It benefits may be moderated by baseline stress levels, cultural attitudes towards nature, and personal comfort in outdoor environments. Best practice is to present it as a complementary, evidence informed approach rather than a replacement for established treatments. In summary, forest bathing appears to reduce stress by down regulating the stress response system, enhancing the parasympathetic activity, and lowering cortisol and improving mood. It is safe, accessible, and promising intervention for stress management and overall well being. Okay. So this slide features a brief video by Dr. Ching Li, whose 30 plus years of expertise offer valuable insights into the topic of forest bathing. Unfortunately, the recorded version of this presentation doesn't support YouTube playback with Microsoft Teams. However, if you are using Zoom, you can record your presentation with embedded YouTube audio and video. Just be aware that the uploading of that version into the Microsoft OneDrive may result in some reduced video quality due to compression. I opted not to upgrade to Zoom Workplace Pro, which meant that I couldn't generate a shareable link from the Zoom server. So maybe some other tech savvy folks can find a workaround to this. But this was my experience. So I wanted to share it with you so that I can spare you any other technological glitches as you figure out your video presentation. All that to say, if you would like to watch the Dr. Ching Li video, it is listed in the references under his name, and you can view it after the session. So the next emerging intervention is brainwave entertainment. So what is brainwave entertainment? It's when you play two slightly different frequencies in each ear. So, for instance, you could have 200 hertz in the left ear and 210 hertz in the right. The brain doesn't hear both tones, it perceives a third phantom beat at the difference, in this case, 10 hertz. This is called an auditory illusion generated in the brain stem, where signals from both ears are integrated. The main theory of brainwave entertainment is that the brain synchronizes its electrical activity to match the frequency of the perceived beat. Different brainwave ranges are linked to different mental states. So for delta, this is going to help people with restoration and deep sleep. Theta is for relaxation, meditation, and stress reduction. Alpha provides calm focus and light relaxation, and beta promotes alertness and problem solving. However, if it's too high, this can lead to anxiety, so you'd want to monitor that. By targeting theta and alpha frequencies, binaural beats may nudge the brain into calmer, less stressed states. Binaural beats appear to support stress relief through several mechanisms. Physiologically, some studies have shown reductions in cortisol levels and improvements in heart rate variability when individuals listen to theta range beats. On a cognitive emotional level, shifting brain activity towards slower rhythms may reduce hyperarousal and promote a meditative state. In addition, the rhythmic auditory input can serve as a mindfulness anchor, redirecting attention away from stress inducing thoughts. Evidence to date is promising but mixed. So, pilot studies suggest that the theta binaural beats can reduce stress biomarkers during laboratory stress tests, yet, other research has found minimal to no effect, highlighting individual differences in responsiveness. The most consistent benefits are observed when binaural beats are used with stereo headphones in quiet environments and with regular practice. Overall, binaural beats represent a non invasive, low cost intervention that may help reduce stress by entertaining the brain towards a calmer wave state, particularly in theta and alpha. While the science remains inconclusive, some individuals report noticeable relaxation while others experience very little. Binaural beats are best considered as a complementary tool to establish stress management strategies such as mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, or relaxation training. On this slide, I have included an example of binaural beats designed to support relief from headaches, ease tension, promote deep relaxation, and improve sleep. The track is 3 hours long, though, so you can explore it at your own pace and notice what effects, if any, there are for you. Personally, I have used binaural beats and lo-fi frequencies for years, and I have found that different frequencies can be helpful for different purposes. Some for studying and focus, others for relaxation. So if this is new to you, I would encourage you to experiment with a few options and give yourself time to see which frequencies resonate best for you. This type of auditory stimulation is also used in other therapeutic and wellness settings where the goal is to create calming and a restorative environment. Next, we have somatic awareness. So, as counselors in practicum, you may notice that certain topics or events in session can trigger unexpected reactions. The emotional sensation wheel is a useful tool to help identify the physical responses that accompany these psychological experiences. For example, I recently noticed my palms becoming sweaty during a session. On reflection, I recognized that this was a physical response to feeling surprised. By tracing that sensation back to its origin, I was able to engage in deeper reflection and use meditation to calm the underlying issue. This same approach can be applied with clients. If you observe a shift, you might gently check in by asking, "What are you feeling in your body right now?" A client might say they feel light, which could signal happiness, or you may notice fidgeting, which could point to anxiety. Exploring these sensations together can help uncover the emotions beneath and guide the therapeutic process. You're, of course, welcome to download this image from my presentation or find it online if you'd like to incorporate it into your own practice. It can be a valuable tool not only for supporting clients, but also for deepening your own self awareness as you continue developing as practitioners. Okay, next we have meditation. So, meditation is a well researched, evidence based practice that supports both client well being and counselor resilience. By cultivating present moment awareness and non judgmental attention, meditation has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety by down regulating the body's stress response and lowering cortisol levels. It also improves emotional regulation, allowing individuals to respond more calmly to triggers and reduce reactivity. In addition, meditation enhances focus and attention, supporting clearer thinking and more effective decision making in both personal and professional contexts. It has also been linked to improved mood and resilience, with studies showing reductions in depression, rumination, and fatigue, alongside increased in positive affect. Another important benefit is the strengthening of the therapeutic presence, enabling counselors to remain grounded, attuned, and empathetic towards their clients. For counselors integrating meditation into self care routines, this can help prevent burnout, foster reflective practice, and model healthy coping strategies for clients. Even brief, consistent practices, such as 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation, can yield measurable benefits over time. Research further suggests that meditation serves as a protective factor against burnout and compassion fatigue, making it a valuable and sustainable self care practice for counselors. On this slide, I just want to mention I am in no way affiliated with the Balance app, but it is a tool that I have found incredibly useful for sleep and supporting my daily functioning. Their short guided meditations are designed to refocus energy throughout the day, and I've experienced real benefits from incorporating them into my daily routine. I've included a link here that offers a free trial if you'd like to explore it, because what proves useful for us as practitioners may also be valuable for our clients. So if you're curious, try it out for yourself. So, putting it all together, congratulations! You have reached the end of this presentation. By now, you've seen that self care is not a one size fits all approach. What truly matters is staying open, curious, and adaptable as you explore different ways to weave self care into your daily life. Consistency is key, but it also is important to recognize that your needs will evolve over time. So don't be afraid to mix it up and refresh your practices so that you can continue to experience the full benefits of self care throughout the different seasons of your life. Here I've included just a couple of extra videos on self care that you can explore if you'd like to dive deeper into how self care can be integrated into your daily routine. And there's also some further discussion questions here that I've posted just to get the ball rolling surrounding self care. But feel free to use your own questions as we continue the discussion throughout the week. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. I truly appreciate your engagement and I look forward to continuing the conversation this week. You'll find the resources and cited references in the following pages. And if you have any self care strategies or tools you'd be open to sharing, please feel free to add them into our chat. We could all use a little bit of support along the way. Thank you again, and I wish you all the very best on your journey towards finding self care practices that work best for you. Take well and be well. Take care and be well, counselors. Here are the references that you can look at for articles and for the videos in the presentation. Thank you so much.